It's Dr. Spears with drpremed.com. I wanted to talk to you guys today about something that's very concerning for a lot of pre-med students, and those are the ones who are in the process of preparing for the MCAT. They're studying for the MCAT. However, they're not seeing improvement in their scores. Maybe it's stagnant, maybe there's a decline, or they just think that they should be further along than where they actually are in this process of preparing for the MCAT. And the MCAT's a very different type of exam. There's a lot of students who excel academically in the classroom, and then they feel like, oh, if they did well in school, that should be the same thing for the MCAT. But the MCAT is testing differently than what you would expect. Usually in school, it's about, oh, if you come to class, do the assigned readings, watch the videos, do the PowerPoints, and everything like that, and you know that material, you're going to do well on the test because it's really about regurgitating, memorizing, and things like that. However, with the MCAT, it's more of a standardized test, critical thinking test to assess what you know, and if you can apply concepts to new situations and problems that you haven't come across. And I tell students all the time that the test writer is always going to know more than you when it comes to the MCAT or any type of multiple choice exam or any type of exam actually in your career in medicine. And so you just kind of need to get ready for that when it comes to the MCAT. And so I want to kind of give you some advice on what you can do if you're struggling and you just feel like all your efforts aren't paying off. And the biggest thing that you can do is it's about mindset and having like a belief and knowing that you can get past the MCAT, you can score well, but if you're telling yourself that you're horrible at the MCAT, that you're just frustrated with the process, nothing's working, no matter how hard you study, no matter how many problems you do, your score is just not improving, and you just want to give up on this process, then that's just not going to help you out. So you need to have belief, you need to have faith in things, and just know that if you're studying smartly, you're working hard, and if you're willing to adapt and change your situation, you certainly have the ability to improve your MCAT score. Because I'll just tell you, even when I was preparing for the MCAT, I remember spending countless hours studying, doing all the assigned readings, watching the videos, doing all the problems, and it was like, what the heck? My score's not improving, it's getting worse, I'm getting frustrated with this process, it's either whether I studied all day or didn't study, my score is the same, so it's like, what's the point, what's the use of all of this? And then finally, things clicked for me after putting in all this time and effort, speaking to some mentors. Things clicked, and then I did very well. Everything was great, but I didn't start off that way. And there's a lot of students out there who are in the same boat. And what I want you to do is I want to share some knowledge and advice for that. And now that as a physician, having taken board exams to become a licensed physician to graduate medical school, I have a totally different take on what you should and shouldn't be doing, because of the life experience and having taken so many exams myself throughout this medical career. Because I think even in the first year of medical school, easily took over 60 exams. So think about that, 60 exams in 1 year. So I got a lot under my belt with test taking and everything like that. And so I want to share something with you that kind of goes against the grain, excuse me, against the grain when it comes to preparing for the MCAT. So if you're struggling and you're not seeing improvement in your scores, one of the things I want you to do is actually I want you to approach your practice problems and tests a little bit differently. Most people say, oh, you need to prepare under test-like conditions, you need to mimic the exam, and that's how all your prep should be. However, I think there's two phases of learning. There's learning to actually learn the content and knowledge that you need, and then there's also the other test-taking learning, and that's like actually performance-based on how to maximize your score on the actual MCAT. But if you're at a point where your score isn't improving and you're putting in all this time and effort, you do not need to mimic the MCAT. At this point, it's more about context, subject knowledge, and how to improve that. And so what I think the best thing you can do is focus on one topic, one subject at a time. I want you to pick a topic. Let's say it's physics. You're not going to try to learn all of physics. You're going to just use, like, maybe let's say ropes, pulleys, ramps, all of that good stuff. I forget the formal name for it. I'm sure you guys as a pre-med student know exactly what the test writers or title chapter it is in a physics book for that section, but I kind of just escaped my mind, so I don't remember what it is. But just bear with me with that. And so what you're going to do, you're going to watch all the videos that are associated with whatever primary source you're using to prepare for the MCAT. So you're going to watch all those videos on the ropes, pulleys, and ramps and all of that. And if there's books or anything like that, you're going to do the reading on the ropes, pulleys, and ramps. So you're going to do that. And so you should have a strong knowledge base on that topic. And then what you're going to do, you're going to only do questions on ropes, pulleys, and ramps. And so that way there's going to be a lot of repetition, and you're going to start to see patterns of how, oh, so this is what I read, this is what I watched the video, but oh, this is how the test writer's actually asking these questions on the exam. And then you're going to start seeing that. So, and some people's like, oh, that's going to be cheating because you already know that whatever question is going to be on ropes, pulleys, or ramps, but that's beside the point. You're not at a point where you're scoring well enough where you even need to be at a point of saying, oh, what different type of physics topics, biochem, org, or whatever are they asking me? You're not there yet. You just need to focus and have a strong baseline level of knowledge. So you're going to do that. And you're going to do the questions. And I want you to read the question, maybe cover up the answer choices. And after you read the question, I want you to think in your head, oh, what's the correct answer? So I want you to formulate an answer choice in your head. Then I want you to take a look at the answer choices and see if your answer choice was included in any of the ones below. If it is, great. If it's not, you know you got a little bit of work cut out for you. However, the process is not over because you're going to maximize all your resources. And so after you look at the answer choices, you pick your answer. I want you to then go and identify why is one answer choice correct. So you need to do that. You need to be very, very solid on why this is the best answer choice for this question, and then also determine why the other answer choices are wrong, along with what would have to change to make the answer choice correct. And taking it to the next level, not only do you do that, but you ask yourself, excuse me, I'm having a little bit of memory loss right now because I forget what I was going to tell you guys about that. So you do the first, you're going to say, let me just back up for a minute. So first you're going to look at the answer choices, and then you're going to say, okay, why is one correct? And then why are the other ones wrong? And then you need to say, what would you change to make these incorrects correct for that answer choice? And then this is the third point that I forgot. I just had a little brain fart, I guess what you could say, is why did the test writer include these wrong answer choices in the question? Because most likely those are the ones that are the most common mistakes that students make, or they're most likely to choose. So if you can start doing that, then you're going to really put yourself ahead of the curve when it comes to excelling on improving your MCAT score if you're having trouble. And another thing you can do, I'm really giving you guys a lot for this, if you're struggling and you're not making progress, because remember how I said you're going to just watch the video, you're going to read the material that's all associated with that one specific topic area within the larger subject. And so what you can also do is make yourself a test writer. Take that material, those resources, and make questions yourself. And that's going to really get you to think, because you're really going to have to pull from that book, from that video, and ask yourself, okay, what's going to make for a good question? It's going to be multiple choice, obviously, and you're going to have to think, okay, what am I going to use that's going to be the correct answer choice? And then what are going to be the other incorrect answer choices that I'm going to put in there? And when you start doing this process, you're going to really kind of drill down into that subject content area, because obviously you're not going to write a physics question and then use an orgo answer choice or physics from a totally different area within the subject of physics on that. And that's going to really help you get improving on your score. And along with that, I don't want you to feel rush or pressure that you need to take the MCAT on a certain time frame or period like that. Because if you're not scoring well, just taking the MCAT's not going to improve your score. You need to be in a strong position leading up to the MCAT before you actually go ahead and sit for the exam. And so again, with this thing about there's two phases of learning. First, you need to have that subject content knowledge, and this is going to help you get there. And I'll have another video for you that's actually going to teach you how to go about the process of actually improving like your test taking skills and strategies on the actual exam. But for people who aren't improving or their scores are stagnant, that means you really have a context subject knowledge deficiency that you just need to work to overcome. And it's totally possible because there's so many physicians who I've known who have been in your situation. They've been in your shoes where the MCAT was extremely tough for them. It was unlike any other tests they've taken, or even when they're in medical school preparing for our classroom exams or the boards, and they're just struggling, just going through this process. And like, as one doctor said, he would either barely pass a test or just barely fail a test, but one day he was able to graduate from medical school on time and complete a residency. And I want to give you guys a tool so it's not barely passing or barely failing. I want you to kind of have an upward trajectory in what you're doing and have confidence before you even get to that point where you know the outcome in advance, that you're going to do well, you're going to excel on it. And one of the things that it's going to help you with that is really just sitting down, studying hard, studying smart, and just taking a step back. And this process I told you, this isn't a speedy process. It's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of effort, because it's not like, oh, I'm going to just answer questions, mark my choice, and then read over the answers like, oh, I got that wrong. But here's why. No, you actually have to dig in with this material, dig in with these questions, and really get in there and ask yourself, okay, why is this answer correct? Why are the other ones wrong? What would make them correct? What would have to change in either the question itself or in the answer choices to make it correct? And then also going that added step of asking, why would a test writer even put this question choice with this question? Because that's really going to get you to start thinking. And then even when you're doing questions, I want you to also think about, okay, what is a topic that the test writer is asking of me? What do they want me to know? Like, why? That's one of the biggest things. This is so sad. It took me, like, I don't even know how far, definitely like way into med school before I even learned the idea of questioning what is the test writer even asking of us when we're taking exams. Because I just went through every exam like, okay, here's a new question, read the question, try to figure out the answer, not really thinking like behind the reason behind like the test writer, like, oh, what concepts are they actually trying to test here? And that kind of can help you narrow down answer choices. But I'll save that for another video when I talk more about actual test taking strategy and skills on the test itself. So I hope this has given you guys some points, some insight on what you can do if you're struggling with the actual MCAT and you're studying, you're frustrated, you're taking like these full length or practice tests, mimicking test like conditions, and your score just isn't improving. So this is what you need to do. You're going to step back, you're going to go do things differently, and then once it's closer to your exam, then you're going to go and start doing the other things that's going to mimic the test and really get you those points that you need just based on test taking strategy. But right now, if you're not scoring where you need to be, that shouldn't even be on your mind. You just need to learn the primary material, resources, the topics and concepts that are going to be asked ad nauseum on the MCAT. And so this is going to help you do that. So put in the work, put in the effort, and know that it's not going to be in vain. You got to be confident. You need to be a positive thinker, and just know that you can overcome it if you're willing to work hard, study smart, and even just change your approach to the MCAT, and you'll get the score that you want or need. So it's just about doing things differently and being perseverant and resilient in this process. So hope that helps you guys. And again, this is Dr. Spears or drpremed.com. Take care and enjoy. Study smart, study wisely.